Story written by Emily Furniss, narrated by Emily Furniss. This is called Paint Pot. Pass me that paint pot, please. A little girl giggled and pointed to the paint pot that had dark red paint. Another girl passed the pot, shaking her hand slightly, making a little paint spill. Oh, don't be silly, Jessie. I'm not going to bite. The girl smiled and pretended to bite. Jessie jumped back, dropping the dark red paint over the class floor. Oh, Jessie. Don't worry. I will get some more. The girl smiled, picked up the pot, splashed through the red paint, giggling. Marianne, I got. Jessie still shook and crossed her legs. Marianne shot round and stared at Jessie with dark, evil eyes. Yes, you got to do. What? She giggled again in a childish way as her friend wet herself there and then with desperation and fear. Jessie started to cry as the embarrassment overfilled her. Her mum always said that if she wet herself, it should be an embarrassing moment, that she should tell herself off. This made her cry as the thought of her mum shouting at her made her feel more fearful than she already did. Marianne had finished filling up the paint pot and returned to her tearful friend. Don't cry, Jessie. Please don't cry, Marianne comforted her friend with a hug and accidentally got paint in her clothes. Oops, silly me. Let's get back to the painting. She went back over to her paper and tipped her hand into the paint. Then, once fully covered, she placed a handful of paint with her hand onto the paper. She used her whole hand to make a thick brush and her fingers to make more detailed lines. Being only 6, detail was drawing eyes that were relatively proportionate to the stickman body and head. But this wasn't like a normal 6-year-old drawing. A little stick girl, held something in her hand with a smile and had a red blob. Couldn't determine what it was. Then a stick man laid on the floor with a painted red face, legs in the air, and against a stick boy. My masterpiece has been finished. Jessie, come look. Marianne waved her friend over. By this time, Jessie had stopped crying and turned her attention onto the red painting. Marianne was looking for approval from her friend, but when she realised she wasn't talking, her mood changed. Well, Jessie, what do you think? She held Jessie in front of her masterpiece. Jessie, it's rude not to answer my question. With a push, Jessie was shoved into the slowly drying dark reddy brown painting. She fell onto the floor into the spilt paint that had now thickened. Jessie screamed and tried to push herself out of the smelling liquid, but slipped. Marianne slipped and smashed her face against the floor. Marianne skipped a circle around her friend. There was a lot more paint in the pot when she spilt it. Jessie sat up and wanted to cry, but was frightened that her friend would tell her off. She looked at the face of her teacher and said, "Help me." Jessie whispered gently, pulling her knees into her chest. The teacher's face didn't change. No sympathy, just a cold, grey, gulping face, looking at Jessie. Peekaboo! Shouted Marianne in her friend's face. It's almost home, but I don't want to go home. It's been so fun. Jessie couldn't tell time, but she knew Marianne could, and knew that home time meant mummy. Marianne had her back turned to Jessie, smiling at her handiwork. Jessie stood up and wiped her hands onto her messy clothes. A thought of freedom shot into her mind, and with a jolt of energy she pushed Marianne over the teacher's grey, lifeless body and ran for the door. She got to it before Marianne had realised the door was locked, and Marianne had the key to the door. With defeat, she tried to open the door to have her head ripped back by her hair. Marianne pulled her away from the door and threw her on the floor. "We haven't finished playtime!" After Marianne tied Jessie to a chair, she laughed. The teacher shouted at me, so I slit his throat. Jason said he'll tell his mum, so I stabbed his heart. His best friends, all three of them, would not shut up. So I stabbed one in the jugular with a compass. That's just along your throat. It's one of the main veins to your brain, so you could die. I stabbed one in the eye with a pen. That didn't last very long. The other, I cut his voice box out. He was the loudest one, and I liked the last one the best. But my best friend had gone to the toilet and had skipped the massacre. All the rest had gone home. So what to do with my best friend? She pondered on that question and replied, "Well, I could stuff your mouth with that dirty cloth over there, rip open your belly with just using my bare hands, then play with your insides until you've had enough, then make you touch your own beating heart. And then, once you have had enough, rip it from its supporting veins." Huh? How does that sound? She looked at her for approval, but by this time, Jessie had started to cry again. "Please don't, I just," she croaked. You're right. Not enough time. I need time for that. A lot of time, so you can suffer." Marianne grabbed a pair of scissors and brought them close to her own wrists. She slit them and took the scissors and grabbed Jessie's wrist, stabbing the blade deep into her wrist. Jessie screamed and a blood-curdling scream. Then Marianne tied that arm to her leg so Jessie couldn't move it. Marianne moved over to the window at the far end of the room and then smeared the blood over the ledge and opened it. She then neatly placed herself onto a table next to Jessie so she could see outside the front door. "Oops, I nearly forgot." She got off the table, unlocked the door, then returned to her spot. Marianne started to cry, a dreadful, painful cry, one that you feel sympathy for as soon as you heard it. The parents heard the cry, and the parents of the 6 children ran to the door. She kept crying, "Mummy, Mummy, the man!" This was a hysterical cry by now. The parents of the children busted the door in and revealed the horror scene. One of the mums of the young boy threw up within seconds of smelling the death. "My baby!" another woman cried. Jessie's mum was always late, and Jessie hoped she'd be here soon. Marianne's mother grabbed her lucky to be alive child and rocked her to stop crying. Jessie's mum ran up the path to the playgroup to see the commotion, to find her daughter tied to a chair with scissors sticking out her wrist. "Holy, my baby girl!" She ran over to Jessie and allowed her body to flop into her arm as her brother untied her. "Look, sweetie, your brother, he's back. You know, he went to that holiday. Look, he's back, sweetie." She put on a shaky smile. Jessie looked up and looked at her brother. She was pulling at the scissors. She was so weak and couldn't stop the scissors digging into her nerves. The blur of sirens was what Jessie last heard. A few days later, Jessie woke up in an uncomfortable bed. her eyes opened to see where get well soon cards and balloons. Her mum saw her wake and went over to a little weak girl. She gave her a gentle kiss on the middle of her forehead. Look, baby, your best friend is here. Jessie's mum smiled as Jessie looked forward. Then a volley of screams that made Jessie's mum jump. Get her away! Get her away! Marianne cried, then left a note on the bed behind as she ran away. Jessie's mum nodded and grabbed Marianne. She said she would take her home. Jessie looked at the note and the picture, picked it up. Hold on, I left my coat, Marianne said as she running off. Footsteps followed. She appeared in the doorway, then grabbed her coat and laid a finger on her lips, then ran back down. She read the basic note that her friend had learnt to write. Dear Jessie, I hope you get better soon and feel better soon because I miss you and shh. Otherwise, no more school. The reason I'm telling you this story is because my great-grandmother, her name was Jessie, she told me this story when I was a kid. She never spoke to anyone before except me when no one was in the room. She would always tell me this story. I believe Marianne's still alive. I'm not sure where. Just be careful. She's never been caught. I don't think her name's Marianne. She just used a different name. I'm not sure. She may have even changed her own name. Just be careful. Or if you do, she's got a thing for kids. Not. I say kids. She likes to sit in nursery. She's the last time I heard I searched on Facebook. That's what I done, and oh God, my nan drew a picture. I found this picture. The woman, the girl, holding that blob. She said that was like a portrait, and that's all I ever heard. Just watch yourself, because I heard there's been more murders at a nursery recently. Just please, God, watch yourself. Watch your children. She likes to see and paint. She left a painting behind, I believe, in the last nursery. Just be... What? Hold on, I hear a sound. Be right back. I gotta